מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom and welcome I am Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I am joined this evening by Leslie Zucker, Howard Pittler, and our technical team. A big thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls and to additional docents who are managing the streaming. For those of you on Facebook Live, please follow the comments for useful information. And on the virtual sanctuary, look for the links about the player. You want to say Shabbat Shalom, you can type that and tell us where you're watching us from. And for everybody here in person, yes, we are back in person. We are using the page numbers in the square brackets. You couldn't hear, there was a very loud applause when we say we're back in person. In their
There was
spirit.
much rejoicing in the land.
It's great to be back in person. I mean, we were always in person, but It's good to be back with some of you in person. And as we welcome Shabbat together on page 120, we light the Shabbat candles. If you have candles at home, we invite you to light them and join us in the blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We join together on page 121 in the middle of the page. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. The top of page 134, together we join in Zamru Ladonai.
Zamru
Ladonai bechinor, bechinor b'kol simcha, b'chatzotzot b'kol shofar. Haryu lifnei hamelech Adonai, iram hayam umloo, tevel v'yoshvei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, le'amim le'meisharim. Iram hayam umloo, tevel ve'yoshvei Page 138, we join together in Lecha Dodi. We're singing stanzas 1, 3, and 9, I think, right? That's what we agreed.
What could go wrong?
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Erev Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
המון וזכור בריבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו
הדודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Help me here, how's it go? מלך עיר מלוכה ומצאי מתוך עמך רב לך שבת בעמק הבכה והוא יחמול עלייכם לך הדודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
אוי ושלום עטרת בלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה
בואי חלה
בואי חלה
לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Page 146.
Yai lai lai lai
Yai lai lai lai
Yai lai 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 lai
Yai lai 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 lai
Yai lai 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 lai
Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 lai
Barechu
Barechu
et Adonai
et Adonai
Mevorach
Mevorach
Baruch
Baruch
Adonai
Adonai
Mevorach
Mevorach
Leolam
לעולם ועד. We continue on page 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו
ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא.
מלכותך ובניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה לי, זה לי, אנו ועמהו.
אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Continue together in the middle of page 160. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and rise us up, O guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch ata Adonai, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. שפתי תפתח, אופי יגיד תהילתך, אדוני, שפתי תפתח, אופי יגיד תהילתך, אדוני, שפתי תפתח, אופי יגיד תהילתך.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם וזרוע צרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחלחל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Shalom Israel tasim leolam. Shalom Israel tasim leolam. Shalom Israel tasim tasim leolam. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Yisrael tasim leolam. V'tov enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
We now turn our prayers to those in need of healing. You may have access to the Mishe Berach list through the e-news that you received this morning. You can also follow the link in the comments. For those of you joining us on Facebook Live, if you'd like to offer names, we invite you to type the names now. For us here in person, we invite you to share the names as I look around the sanctuary, starting on this side here. On this Shabbat, we pray for healing both of the body and the spirit for all of us in need. bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. As we think of those in need of healing, we also turn our prayers to those who help in healing health workers all over our city and the world during this pandemic. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. It is now time for our Simcha moment. If you are so moved, we invite you to share a special Simcha, a joy from this past week. At home, you can type the Simchas in the comment lines. It may include your birthday, anniversaries, good news, and accomplishments of all and any kind. Just a few words, and then please press return. For those of us here, we invite you back to our Simcha mic. Just a reminder, we still don't want to gather and congregate too much in front, but there's an X. Well, please come forward, tell us who you are and what your Simcha is.
I have a Simcha
Oh,
moment.
please.
Tuesday's song session is going to be multi-access. So if you want to come and spread out in the pews and be here in person for a song session on Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central, you are welcome to come join us. We'll also still be on the streaming platforms for those of you who can't make it out.
Got me?
Yes.
I'm Carol, and yeah, sometimes Dave forgets to turn the camera over here. But he gave me he gave me the signal. I'm so happy that we're back in person. I just have a hard time getting involved when it's on a small screen. And it's just so wonderful to be back in person.
I thought you were going to say, I'm so happy, it's Adar.
You said no. We're going to give you at least a few weeks to think that we're listening.
I'm Paula Frummerman, and on Monday I was called. My brother was in the hospital and on a ventilator. Did not have COVID. He had a blood infection, but as of today, he is out of ICU and doing well.
Hi, I'm Stu Lewis, and as of at least February 1st, I'm cancer-free through the latest scan.
I lost my first molar.
Now, who are you?
I'm Florence.
Thank you.
The molar, that's a big one.
And I was actually supposed to be her support person, but,
Who are you?
oh, I'm Florence's grandma,
Andrea. Her name is Andrea.
Andrea. And I got to do my first Zoom class on learning all about fruit trees and bushes and berries, and I am so excited for spring
Why would you need that?
because I have a farm. Yes,
I
it's
feel like
it's the
eventually-
Beth Torah farm.
I was gonna say, I
Let me
feel
ask
like
you,
eventually
is
this will be our simcha.
Is next year you're taking the class on husbandry, whatever it's called? You know, when you learn how to raise
Husbandry,
husbandry.
animal
right.
husbandry.
No.
I'm looking for the goat farm. And all
He's
that.
in,
Oh, okay.
and Jay says it's a no animal farm.
This Wee
so.
Woman Petting Zoo, is that what we're going for? No, I'm getting the big no.
I've been trying for 2 years. No success. I thought I'll try again.
Hello, I am Alice, and I have turned 15. This happened a month ago, but I haven't been able to say it, so.
Wonderful. Mazel
Thank you.
tov. So for today, this week's Torah portion is Parashat Tetzaveh, and includes all kinds of separate laws. And this one, it's a poem. It's a really not a poem. It's called something that you may or not be familiar with. It's called Techine. Now, it's not something you get at the supermarket. I just want to make sure. Techine, it's a Yiddish word that means prayer, but more specifically is a prayer written by women for women. And they're like, you know what a kavanah is? Like a little intention, like a yun. So this is called, it is a techine on the topic of light, but it's an actual techine said before. Here's another Yiddish word for you, kedusha, means a kedusha, the sanctification. So women, maybe in a traditional household, may not go to the synagogue with their husbands or their children, but at home they will have their own devotionals. And if they didn't know enough Hebrew, they may think about that prayer and then read this one in Yiddish.
I love that.
So and this one was written by Bela Horowitz, and it's an English translation. Near you, God, there is no night, and candles are not needed beside you. For you light up the whole world with your light, and the morning speaks of your mercy, and the night speaks of your truth, and all creatures acknowledge your wonder. God, you help us every day. As we gather all our simchas, we share a prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share in the happiness of those who have marked their birthday anniversaries, good news and accomplishments. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always. So we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community. Together we join in song as we mark this sacred occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. It may seem a little early to some of you to think about Hanukkah. We haven't gone through Purim or Pesach yet. But without Hanukkah in mind, it is kind of difficult to picture what the Torah is teaching us on this Shabbat about light. The prescription to light the menorah that once stood inside the ancient tabernacle, the Mishkan, and then the ancient temple in Jerusalem is found at the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh, which literally means you shall instruct. And it is really all contained in one single verse in the book of Shemot of Exodus. It's very short. It says, Ve'ata tetzaveh et bnei Israel b'ikhu elecha shemen zayit zach katit lamaor. You shall further instruct the Israelites to bring you clear oil of beaten olives for lighting, leha'alot ner tamid, for kindling lamps regularly or eternally, right? Because the common translation in English is for kindling lamps regularly. And if we read the English, we just go by it and we get no connection to Jewish living. But this verse is the basis of a regular feature of synagogues the world over. It is the eternal light, the Ner Tamid. In fact, many scholars think that the Ner Tamid constitutes the only commanded practice associated with the ancient tabernacle that is still with us. It's pretty amazing. And let me tell you that like 3-4 Torah portions all about the tabernacle, so only one thing survived. That's pretty good. The eternal light hangs, of course, in front of the ark or above the ark in the synagogues. And it is one of the many symbols identifying the synagogue as a miniature sanctuary, a mikdash me'at, as the rabbis call it. Although physically different, and I'm aware of that, both the Ner Tamid and the Hanukkah menorah go back to this one verse found in this week's parasha. Of course, the story of the Maccabees is not in the Torah, but this is where the menorah traces its roots to. In the Torah, a women's commentary, Rabbi Laura Lieber, echoing our ancient rabbis, wonders why God would need a light inside the inner sanctuary at all times. Does God need light to see? What does God have to read? That, kind of thing. But as is typical in the Torah, no reason is given for the lighting of the Ner Tamid. In the Talmud, the rabbis propose that the eternal lamp commemorates the divine light, like a fire that led Israel through the wilderness, like the pillar of fire. The Ner Tamid, then, it's a reminder for us that the divine presence, the Shekhinah, can come into our lives, that God may dwell among the people. The Ner Tamid is a symbol of our openness to come into the presence of God. It is an invitation, in the same way that my mom would say, I'll leave the lights on until you get home. We are saying to God, we are leaving this light on, the Ner Tamid. Please come visit from time to time. What a beautiful metaphor to say that the Ner Tamid is permanently lit as an open invitation for God to dwell among us. Don't you think? So what happens if we neglect the upkeep of the Ner Tamid? What happens if we forget to light the lamp? Story is told of a wealthy man who all by himself built a synagogue for his town without letting anyone see what was going on at the construction site. There was no building committee. It was just all by himself. You know this is not going to end well, but let me just get to the point. Now, day and night, the workers built it until the new synagogue was finished. And when the work was completed, the townspeople were excited and curious about what they would find upon entering their new synagogue. They kind of were stuck with it, you know. As you can imagine, they lined up early in the morning, as one do, and anxiously waited for the grand opening. So the doors opened and the townspeople began to enter. They marveled at the synagogue's magnificence. But soon, as it is often the case with so many of us, they notice a flaw. Not only that there was no Ner Tamid, but that there were also no lamps at all. This is before electricity, you see. So at sunset, it will be in darkness. What a shanda! One brave soul then asked, now, where are the lamps? How are we supposed to read our Siddur? As it dawned on them, the crowd began to laugh. The wealthy benefactor managed to silence the crowd, and a hush came over the congregation. He then pointed to brackets that were strategically placed all along the walls throughout the synagogue. And he then gave each family a lamp, as he explained. Whenever you come to the synagogue, I want you to bring your lamp and light it. And your light will fill this space of prayer. But each time you are not here, he said, a part of the synagogue will be dark. This lamp I'm giving you will remind you that whenever you are absent, some part of God's house will be dark. Your community is relying on your light. I realize that those of you watching and those of you here have lit that light. I understand. But it's really a metaphor. Because in this time of pandemic, it might not be possible for all of us to be in one room. Our presence, both physical and virtual, does indeed bring light into one single place. For each one of us already carries a Ner Tamid inside our souls. To see and to be seen, to connect as a community, we must bring that light to one place where, joined with other bringers of light, we can be sure that there are no dark corners in God's holy place. As the well-known Hanukkah song, and here go back to Hanukkah. It says a little twist in my translation. It says, Banu choshech legaresh. But I say, Banu choshech lekadesh. We've come to sanctify the dark. Beyadeinu or va'esh. In our hands, there's light and there's sparks. Kol echad or katan. Each one of us is truly a tiny light. V'chulanu or eitan. But together, we are one powerful, bright light. Together, we can bring more light. The light that your community constantly needs. The light that only you can bring into the mix. Have a Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So I invite back our music team to join me on the bima. I invite all of you to turn to page 586 as we continue our service with Aleinu Leshabech.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה
אדוני למלך על כל הארץ
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, I invite you to turn to page 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more. We are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory softly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We have heard of the passing of Lola Fairchild, mother and mother-in-law of Beth and Jim Riker, and grandmother of Sam and Will Riker. We are observing the Shloshim period for Michael Levine, loved one of Sheila Goldberg, Sue Miller, sister of Linda Gepford, Irv Krasnopoler, father and father-in-law of Mitchell Krasnopoler and Susan Cohen, Miriam Fern Northrop, grand-aunt of Elizabeth Lentz, Irving Gedaldic, father and father-in-law of Steve and Sandy Gedaldic. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Sid Anton, Barney Arlen, Goldie Baker, Jay Barish, Josephine Lowe Bloom, Leah Butt, David Bromfen, Lloyd Cunningham, Ann Eisberg, Fran Ellenberg, Paul Flam, Marion Friedlander, Barney Friedson, Thelma Grossman, Ina Bela Harwood, Richard G. Handler, Ruth Horowitz, Sharon K. Stanzik Hunter, Lillian Karch, Baruch Ben-Zion Chafetz, Jerry Lapid, Emmanuel Lowenstein, Pearl Schechter, Leo Schmidt, Lillian Schultz, Florence Schwartz, Stephen Shames, Jerry Shapiro, Marilyn Stowe, Mary Trembulac, Martha Weber, Ethel Weiner, Helen Oni Zipper. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 598, we can rise together as a congregation for Kaddish Yatom, the mourners Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו
Time for some announcements. I would like to invite Aviva Simons, Director of Member Engagement for our congregation. Aviva.
All are welcome to join us in person, of course, as well. Thank you very much to Rabbi Katapan, Leslie Zucker, and Howard Pittler for making this service possible. Thank you also to Dave Zucker for enabling all of us to come together from our own homes and our shared religious home. Also, thank you to Scott Franklin and Peter Pizer for welcoming us back home to Beth Torah tonight. Our Shabbat celebrations continue tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m. with Sichat Shabbat, our Shabbat conversation, which is only virtual. So please join Rabbi Kleinman on Zoom for a Shabbat conversation with fellow CBT members and friends. And then following at 10:30 a.m., we are having a Shabbat learning service. So we look forward to taking things a bit slower in the service and really learning the why behind what we are reading, chanting, and singing. Especially for our upcoming B'nai Mitzvah students and their families, we hope you will join us for this service in person or online. Looking ahead to next week, we are very excited to have a Beit Knesset, or a House of Assembly, with Molly Hess of Priya, when we will learn how to be an advocate and ally to those struggling to build their families in our current world. So more information to come this week, but it will be a fascinating conversation. A few things going on this week. First of all, we have our Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday, this Sunday, and I am so excited to report that as of this moment, including what was delivered tonight, we have 513 low-sodium soups in the Ulam. We are only 100 away from our goal of 613. I am confident we will surpass it. Prove me wrong, but we're going to do it. So 613, join us on Sunday, 10 a.m. until noon. Contactless drop-off in the Circle Drive, and we'll Cheer on whatever team you would like to cheer on in the Super Bowl, and drop off soup for the JFS Food Pantry. A few other opportunities this week. Like Leslie mentioned, we have multi-access song session, so all are welcome in person and online, Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. And then the next day on Wednesday, we have our blood drive. So it is not too late if you would like to donate blood. Walk-ins are welcome, or you can schedule an appointment using the link in the e-news. We are very excited to save many lives together. And last but not least for now, first of all, in 2 weeks, we are excited to be hosting Potluck Productions on Sunday, February 20th at 3 p.m. It is $5 at the door, and there is adult content. So take a look in the e-news for more information or ask Leslie, but we're very excited. And now, last but not least, we cannot wait for our virtual dinner and magic show. On Saturday, February 26th, we are in fact bringing in a professional magician all the way from New Jersey, but it's via Zoom. So join us, dinner, Havdalah, magic show, 100% free to Beth Torah members, suggested donation from non-members. It will be such a fun, family-friendly night together. And now, very, very last but not least, thank you to Margie and Steve Cooper for sponsoring this Shabbat's To-Go Oneg To Go, in honor of Steve's birthday tomorrow, Saturday, February 12th. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I always want to clarify for everybody that the potluck thing on that Sunday has no food in it.
Yes, it is not a potluck meal, Potluck Productions, because it is a series of short plays by local women. We help local emerging playwrights.
I know I'm the only one who hears potluck and thinks food.
You're not.
For $5. I mean, that's not fine. I don't have to bring anything, but it's not.
It's a potluck of theatrical.
Of theatrical things,
Yes.
yes. You know, I'm just saying, we have a kind of a Jewish crowd here. When you say potluck, everybody would bring something.
Oh my goodness.
If you do, I'm sure they'll put it to good use, but.
And I'm so excited. We'll see you all tomorrow morning for our
Yes.
learning service too.
Let's be fun. We conclude our time together. Oh, where did it go? Singing Oseh Shalom. If you're able, please stand and join us. Oseh Shalom Bimroma. Oh, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimroma. Oh, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh Shalom Bimroma. Oh, Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Ve'imru Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Take care of each other out there.